So there's been a lot of backlash on ascended masters, but really what it is false ascended masters. It's a lot of backlash. So the definition it refers to a highly evolved being that is essentially a high level of nirvana, a high level of spiritual enlightenment, wisdom and mastery over the physical realm. So it can be you can bend energy, you can bend metal, you can bend ether. That's some of the energies behind ascended master. They're not all teachers. They can do a lot of things. There's a lot of spiritual masters. Now, one of the things when you're dealing with ascended masters is you're dealing with false ascended masters. And false ascended masters are people that don't do any of the spiritual enlightenment but try to steal from the real ascended masters. And what they do is they try to copy what they say, they try to regurgitate their information, and what ends up happening is they create this false ascended master. And a lot of ascended masters, they always end up being effed over. I heard somebody, they talk about the false ascension matrix, but here's the thing with the false ascension matrix. These people, when they fall into the false ascension matrix, you have to deal with, I've never really dealt with the false ascension matrix. It constantly tries to get it in. And you deal more with a lot of energies, but some of these energies, they come around, and when you're dealing with false ascended masters, you're dealing with false tests. You're dealing with bullies, narcissistic personality disorder, everything wrong with society is when you're dealing with false ascended masters. So one of the seventh dimensional energies on his 8-8, he noticed that they've been doing a lot of vanity narcissistic abuse, and they've been doing it through these false ascended masters that was teaching feminine energy the wrong way, that was teaching low vibe feminine energy and not really teaching high vibe feminine energy. So one of the things that the 8-8 portal is really getting pissed off about is they've fully religified feminine energy to the point where the sacred feminine is still under Mary Magdalene, just like the sacred prostitute is. Mother Mary is a sacred feminine, however, she is a spiritual teacher as well through the Gnostic tradition. Now, but they said a lot of death has been manifesting through the 8-8 portal, and they want death. They feel like it's been year after year after year where they've had not just one but multitude of energies come into society to show society how to switch things up. They sent real people to do real ascended master things, and the only thing they got out of it was listening to these energies be bullies, they try to be under dark archetypes. They chose to be first dimensional, dealing with parasites and loosh, being under dark archetype. They was dealing more with sexually transmitted entities. So the seventh dimension is just looking like everybody is kind of falling into these lower vibrations where a seventh dimensional, let's say for instance, a seventh dimensional man has to defend himself why he thinks a woman is beautiful in 2025, right? Or when a girl dresses down and she has to fight to say she's not gay, but because they have this whole little thing going on, they said, so it's really given now that the 8-8 is calling for a lot of death in 2020. Like this portal isn't as vanity narcissistic abuse. This portal isn't as high vibe as y'all think, for real. This portal wants people's heads. This portal wants people to die because they feel like a lot of y'all been sitting here pushing ascension, using false ascended masters to make people believe that y'all was better than the next, and using all kind of y'all knowledge in regards to what y'all believe in instead of listening to a person that does full 360 understanding of most topics when it comes to spirituality. So instead, these false ascended masters pushed their agenda specifically through religion. Then we dealt with New Age, and one of the things that I forgot is New Age is a part of the whole Jesus thing, but that goes into J, because right now on the 8-8 portal, one of the things I was talking about on the phone was you're dealing with 8-8, which is the Jesus number. 88 is a 88 hertz is a Jesus frequency. Now, when you reduce it, it goes to 7, which is the divine number. And then in 2025, it equates to 9, right? So it really, and they said if you calculate it all the way through, you should get what? Oh, 8 and 7. And then they said, which 8 is, it can be, that's an ascended master number. And that's the one thing I forgot to say on the phone, but it's an ascended master number. And 9 is completion, but also 9 is the J that gets you from Yahweh to Jesus. So the energy right now, the energy right at this moment is a full Jesus, Jesus, Ascended Master. You're going to be dealing with a lot of false Ascended Masters and Ascended Masters under the J, Jesus energy. We're going to deal with a lot of Yahweh energies. They're going to deal with a lot of necromancy. So energies coming back that was real Ascended Masters. And they're going to want their justice for everybody that stole their energies through energy vamping and sacrifice, because one of the biggest energies through the gate right now is sacrifice, death. Let me see. I'm pulling up the sex is in there. The sex is heavy in there, but solar plexus came out, but it's not going to be as dominant when you're dealing with these energies, because vanity, narcissistic abuse is just people that think they're pretty trying to hold on to their looks. And the fact that nobody is stunting how cute they are, they said will make them lose their fucking mind. Because these people that was just holding on to their looks is really, because they ain't got nothing to do with the portal. Let me see something. Let me see. Yep, you're dealing with a lot of feminine energy, because I picked up this paper from one of my old notes, and it's saying magnetic energy, which is feminine energy. So if you work on it, you're going to deal with a whole lot of life force in your feminine energy, because a lot of us that's been fighting through divine feminine energy, we're going to have to keep going. But to manifest, we're going to have to do it through the feminine energy. But that's mostly where a lot of manifestation comes from, hard work, usually on a layman's masculine side. But for the most part, men and women are going to have to really go into their feminine energy in 2025, going into 2026, if they want to fight through this false ascended master, because all they're going to be teaching at this point is some of the stuff that you hear repetitively, and even it's like some of the stuff I may say, but you're just going to hear a lot of the false energies, things that sound good, but remember, anything that sounds good, contingent on who you are, can or cannot get to your energy, can or cannot. But a lot of them are going to be tapping in You're going to deal with a lot of new age energies, and you're going to start to see them, some of them, for who they are. You're going to start to see that they're attached to a lot of real divine feminine energies. They've been energy vampiring feminine energies. I just went through let's call it vanity wars or glam wars. So Spirit was trying to teach me the difference between reverse glamour magic and glamour magic. However, what they started to realize is in your situation, you have more people or energies that they just, yeah. So they're just saying when you're dealing with that, you're also dealing with vanity, narcissistic personality disorder. Like, there was a group of energies. One day they were doing spelling, and they were putting my energy to call me ugly over and over and over again because they noticed at the time, I could clear my feminine energy almost instantly. So they had to constantly call me ugly. And I remember when I finally cleared it out, I can see, like, it's almost like I could see the words. So, and just even saying that, you're going to start to hear more people talk about things that sound weird. You're going to start to hear more about alien technology, nanobite chips and nanobots, and it's going to start to integrate more with spirituality. And that's how we're going to start to break out of all these different matrices, because I've been working through the magic matrix. I'm getting through the matrix when it comes to the sexual energies and going through the sacred prostitute initiation and getting out the sacred prostitute initiation. But just to go back in again, dealing with another energy, or at least going through the next stage and having people look up to energies that's been copying me for the longest, and dealing with all these energies that, we're dealing with all the frauds and all the stuff are coming out. But you know what's so funny? And the thing is, a lot of people supported the frauds. That's what makes it hard. And they expect the people that they fucked over to understand that. And I think sometimes that's the part that we're going to start to realize is they don't have to forgive people for fucking them over, for believing people that lied to them. So with that, I'm going to just stop here. Ashe, and have a good day.